And a special thanks to Ken Grant for educating us on those gas price issues. Thank you, Ken, for all that education you provided for
Yes,
us.
thank you so much. So now we have two of our school board election winners.
do.
This is so exciting.
Yes.
We have Kecia Nesmith. She won the Red Clay School District F. And we also have Kimberly Stock. She won Brandywine School District, District F. So it's so exciting to have you both with us. Hi.
Hi, thank you.
How are you guys feeling since the election?
Yes.
Exhilarated.
Yeah? You gotta give me more than that. I know you guys are feeling much more than that, right? How's the family feeling?
I think everybody is feeling a mixture of just relief, but also maybe just a little bit of hope. And honestly, like it was really kind of empowering to win. I don't know if Kecia feels the same way, but I think that's kind of how we feel.
Yeah, I think my immediate family and my extended family who came up to help, we're all elated, excited about what's to come, and really proud of the difference that we can make, that I can make as a school board member. So everybody's excited, taking a little break, a little rest, but we're ready to get to work.
Now this is your guys' first time running for a public office, correct?
Yes.
Definitely, yes.
I'm super curious. What made you both decide to take this big step and run?
I mean, for me, I think because I've been a lifelong educator, it's one of the things that I've always thought about, largely because of my feeling that sometimes the school board members weren't necessarily as in touch with what was happening in the schools. And a lot of decisions were made this past year for teachers and for parents and for students without, I think, a lot of say on our part. And I think that, you know, these things work best, schools work best, school districts work best when more stakeholders are kind of part of that decision. And so just kind of seeing everything that happened, I just kind of realized that it was time.
You know, after the November 2020 election, I really got more involved in looking at our government, at policy. As a doctoral student at UD, I had a policy class, and we had to create policies, research policies, and I realized that I had more to give. Right now, I'm serving as a principal, but I also have more to give to the community. So my children are in Red Clay school districts, and my son is in 6th grade, and my daughter's graduating. So I said, you know, if not now, when? So I just really want to serve, and that's the honest truth. And I had no idea that I was becoming a politician. So that it's just really exciting to be able to share my gifts and talents and resources.
Now, I'm sure this was probably new for your families. How are they taking this all in, seeing your guys' success with this election?
My husband has said to a few friends of mine, I knew she was going to do something. She's always going to do it. When she wants to do it, she goes out and gets it. So I think that is the norm in my household. So they're just kind of used to it. They go along. You know, at times they're really energized. I would say on election day, they were super excited. Just to be able to see the wealth of support that came out in support of my campaign.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely think my family was excited about it. I think that before I even filed, I talked to my husband, I talked to my 2 daughters, and I said, what do you think about if I were to decide to do this? Because it might affect you a little bit. And my youngest daughter said, just as long as you're not, like, you know, in a bad mood when you come home from being too tired and stuff. But really, it was nice to just have my family like get involved, you know, on different levels, and just kind of really take ownership. And I think that really for me, it really didn't just feel like my win. It really felt like not just my family's win. I mean, it really felt like just so many people. It just felt like our win collectively together. So that's been
awesome.
kind of crazy to see. But it's I always say this too. It's not about me. It's really about like, it's really about what we could do together.
Right.
Speaking of what we can all do together, right now as we're phasing into things, you know, our area opening up after COVID, I'm really curious just to kind of jump right into some of the issues that we have on our plate at the moment with schools reopening after COVID. What is that going to look like? What is the plan? How are you ladies looking at attacking this?
Well, I'll say, you know, I've had a wealth of experience this year being able to see what the cyber world looks like. I'm on special assignment as a cyber principal. which is very interesting. And we've learned lots of lessons this year, what to do and what not to do. So I'm hopeful that the school districts will work together to provide options that maximize student learning. Teachers having to teach from the classroom, teach online, and teach in person is very, very difficult. So I hope that that will go away. But maybe looking at how we can leverage the resources that we already have to provide some type of online learning for students to get that rich curriculum, not just an outside third party provider in terms of curriculum, but get the rich curriculum and instruction from a certified teacher in Red Clay. And so if we look at, start planning now, we can figure out how we can do that without having to really spend any more resources. And then looking at how we can continue to grow that opportunity, because we are in a global society, and the internet and the online learning has really shown us that some kids actually thrive. Many more really need that in-person learning, but some kids actually did thrive. So we should do a little bit more research around that and figure out how we can meet the needs of all of our learners so that we can keep equity at the forefront.
That's actually a really great point there. I was going to ask, you know, with understanding that some students are better in-person learners opposed to virtual and vice versa, there have to be some students that might be in the gaps right now because of virtual learning. Is there a plan in place to catch them up to their grade level?
So for both the Brandywine School District and the Red Clay School District, so I'm actually a teacher for Red Clay, so I teach at McCain High School. So I can kind of see this perspective from both a parent for BSD as well as a teacher for Red Clay. And yes, so both districts have received some money to have, like, you know, if they want to call them summer camps or summer learning, some really creative ways. I know that, like, at McCain, we have some actually kind of exciting summer camps that we're trying to get our students to come back and do. And it's not just like, I mean, like art camp and like media camp and things like that. So when I kind of saw that, I thought, geez, maybe I want to kind of go and do that too. And one of the things that's been really nice, at least for Red Clay, is that we've been able to offer teachers basically per diem to come and do that. So they get they get their real hourly rate as opposed to like the $27 or $29 an hour, which is still, you know, I mean, great, but it really encourages teachers to do that because I mean, we're exhausted. We're really exhausted. And my first reaction was, oh my gosh, there's no way I would want to come back and do that. But I'm so grateful to my colleagues who are able to do that. So that's one of the plans. In BSD, they are also offering, Brandywine School District, they're also offering also summer learning too. And I have learned a little bit about that at school board meetings, but I don't know the ins and outs of that. But my hope is that they're able to really come up with some really fun opportunities to get the kids back in. A lot of people talked about this, you know, learning loss, but we never talked about what our students gained, you know, from this year. And certainly we've all had loss, but our students learned lessons that we could never teach in the classroom about being resilient and about being survivors. And you know, I can tell you right now that my students have lost a lot, not just in learning, but in personal loss, tragic loss from COVID. And it's not fair and it's not right. And I don't know how, it can never be made up to them. But, you know, I just hope and pray that we can come back in the fall with some, you know, trauma-informed care and practices and teaching, and just really, you know, kind of understand that it can't just always be business as usual. And I would agree with Kecia as far as, you know, for next year, that obviously the plan is to get everybody back to whatever normal was, but maybe normal didn't work for everybody. And we have models already, like at Dickinson High School, we have the model of the school within a school. So we could do more of those types of things for our students who really do learn best remotely, because I can tell you right now at McCain, we have a lot of high school students who simply just could not come to class because our hours were from 7:25 to 2:15, but they were working because they needed to support their families. And so we have to come up with better plans to meet the needs of all of our students.
You know, Kim, you made a good statement in meeting the needs, especially with all the issues that we've dealt with last year being totally unprecedented for a lot of folks dealing with COVID to social justice issues.
gosh,
Do
yes.
you, both of you, Kecia and Kim, do you guys see that being a part of the curriculum in the near future, addressing social justice issues at all?
Well, you know, I think it's important to look at the whole child. And as Kim was talking about some of the lessons learned and things that we can build upon, there's agency that was built with our students. They are learning to use their time wisely, having some choice in terms of how they spend their time, depending on what model their school enacted this year. And so I think the piece of the puzzle that we're missing is the student voice. And understanding how do they feel. You know, we as parents make a lot of decisions. We go to school board meetings, we share our point of view. How do we hear from the students, from the little ones all the way up to the older students? And with that, I will say that I have been impressed by a number of students within the Red Clay School, Consolidated School District who have elevated issues over the year or so about social justice. They raised their voices to share how they were feeling about the things going on in our world and society. And so I think it's important to listen to our students so that we can enact curriculum that meets their needs. So not just a one-size-fits-all social justice, but how do we craft curriculum that helps our students to have voice, helps our students to understand their histories, helps our students to be able to communicate and engage with people who don't look like them, who don't speak their languages, who aren't from their backgrounds, and still be able to get along and to be able to thrive. Because at the end of the day, our students are our future. And so we need to be able to empower them to be able to make good choices, to think critically, and to be productive citizens.
That's awesome. So awesome, yes. I look forward to seeing everything that you two ladies are going to do during your term.
Likewise.
One last question. When do you start?
Yes.
Officially?
Well,
Officially July, actually Monday.
Awesome, awesome. This is really great. I really appreciate your time together with us here today at DETV. Good Morning Wilmington. Again, I look forward to seeing great things from you both. And yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.